Today, I read the article on the Nintendo website about how the Switch 2 plays Switch games, and it's a very interesting concept. We also get our very first look on the eShop for the Switch 2. Come along and let's talk about this. So, how does the Switch 2 play Switch 1 games? A lot of people thought it was just an original Switch with updated hardware. Well, I found out today by reading the Ask the Developers how it really works. But before we get started with this part of the conversation, if you don't like tech, you probably should just use that timestamp down below. Move on to the next topic about the front end of the new eShop. But if you love tech, stay with me and let's do this together. So, when it comes down to the Switch 2, the way they play Switch 1 games is a hybrid situation. So when I was reading this article, they talk so much tech about this part of it that really got confusing for probably a basic amount of people. They even stopped the developer from actually talking about it because they even said in the article that's people won't understand it. So I read it about 2 times to make sure I got my opinion on it. And this is my opinion if I'm wrong, and you can understand this better than me. I love tech. I love it. I build arcade cabinets. I'm taking consoles apart. I read the, you get it. I love tech. So how does this work? Well, it's a hybrid. So they didn't want to go emulation. And they didn't have the opportunity to get the actual Switch hardware on there. But if they did put the Switch hardware on there, it would drain the battery. So what do I mean by that? They're using an FPGA chip, meaning they put all the hardware information on this chip, kind of like what analog does with the NT, the Super NT, the new N or the new 3D analog. Very cool stuff. I love FPGA. They're fantastic. They're 100% backwards compatible, no issues. Well, Nintendo developer themselves said, well, we couldn't do that. It would drain the battery lives. But we didn't want to use emulation because it never works perfect. So they did a hybrid system, it seems like. And like I said, if I'm wrong, leave a comment. Let's have a talk about it. I love talking to you guys. You guys are the best community that I've ever had. So they took an FPGA chip and put the hardware on there, made a new type of emulation and combined it. So you have half emulation, half hardware emulation, software and hardware emulation into one. Very cool. Very cool. I love it because even though it's not 100% backwards compatible, it will be. Now, how do I know this? Well, do you remember a company called Hyperkin? They're still around today, and the Retron 5. Now, I know that's a subject that's very touchy because the Retron 5 stole emulators. But when it first came out, it was not 100% backwards compatible. It's still not, but it is because it could play physical cartridges that have basic, but if they had add-on cartridges, they cannot do it. But the physical main cartridges, they could. So when it first came out, it was said it was 100% backwards compatible, but it wasn't, and they had to fix the issues that it wasn't. Nintendo Switch 2 is backwards compatible to a point. You can find the listing of what games are and what games ain't, but they can fix that in the future because they're using an FPGA chip. I'm almost 100% sure of that, and they could just give you updates, and they won't even have to tell you that it's been updated for the Switch side. I'm sure Nintendo's not that way, and they will tell you that it is. So, yeah, they are not using software emulation. They're not using hardware emulation. They're using a combination of hardware and software emulation to emulate the Switch 2 game. Sorry, guys. And, yeah, give me a second. I need a drink. Yeah, I don't like editing my videos anymore. I'll add stuff over the video, but to actually edit it, nah, I'm good. But yeah, I think the emulation idea, either way, even if it was just software emulation, add the cartridge in like the Retron 5, it would have been fine. I would have had no problem with that. If it was a hardware emulation, at least I knew it would have been 100% backwards compatible because FPGA is that way. You never have any problems with the analog stuff. But unfortunately, they wanted to make the battery life last as long as possible. So what they did was a great idea, and I appreciate Nintendo doing that. But again, if you guys want to take a chance to read this article yourself, link down below in the description. Go for it, and we're going to move on to the next subject. So if you made it this far in the video and you really like this kind of content, please like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and thank you for subscribing. So the Nintendo eShop, remember this thing on the Switch? Leggy, ugly looking, no good, nothing special. Well, take a look at this. This looks a lot better. Now, what's going on the screen right there? It has recommendations for you. Not for what's coming out later on, but what's for you. Meaning, if you play Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, they might go, hey, you might like Breath of the Wild. You play Metroid Prime 4, hey, you might like Metroid Dread. They're going to do that kind of style. They're not going to go, oh, you play Breath of the Wild? How about this hentai game? No, they're not doing that. They're giving you actual suggestions now. At least that's what it looks like from this. And this also comes from the same article. So if you go to the website that we were just talking about from Nintendo News, ask the developers, there it is. It's right there. So, but you don't have to do that because I'm showing it on screen now. So very cool. Yeah, I like the way this looks. It looks fantastic. Yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say. You can't really see what's really going on until you have it in your hands, but it looks like they really did a great job on updating this. Also, in the article, good news for everybody. When you transfer your account over to the Switch 2, it also transfers all your information. So, like all your credit cards and all that. So, you don't have to re add them in. They talk about that in the article, too. It's awesome. Guys, I'm serious. If you want to actually understand the Switch 2 a little bit better, go read the article, link in the description, like I said. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you on my next video. Peace.